Yeah, there were plenty of positives to come out of it. It was a good game of cricket. Certainly, Aaron Finch's form at the top of the order was great to see. I was really happy with how Xavier Doherty bowled. I think generally we fielded really well. Our intent and the way we went about our batting was really pleasing. So there was a lot to like.
The last match, there were a considerable amount of full tosses towards the end when Yuvraj was batting and some very poor bowling. Was it a problem with gripping the ball or something, or it's just that the bowlers didn't come to terms with the conditions?
I don't think there was any concerns with the conditions. I think the ball got wet at one stage and I think the umpires changed it, so it was probably more a matter of execution.
George, whether Johnson come back this match?
Yeah, we're certainly hoping so. So he was, it was more precautionary, I think, that he sat out the other day, given that there's 7 games in a relatively short space of time. So we've given him every opportunity to come up. I think he'll have a light bowl today, but I'm certainly expecting him to be right.
Yeah, so when the series 6-1 to topple the Indians from the ICC ranking list, how do you see that demand? You just going purely by match or
Yeah, I think it'd be silly to look at it and be going in hoping to be 6-1. That's obviously there, but it's a long way away. I think realistically, I would very much be surprised. I'd be happily surprised if that happened, but realistically, that's probably not the case. So it'll be very much a one match at a time focus, starting here.
Pretty happy with the way Nick Madison got out. Any chance for him? He's not in the squad, isn't he?
Not there, I asked about that.
Any thought about the wicket and the general conditions?
I haven't had a look at the wicket. We just walked across the ground then for the first time. The ground's always a beautiful outfield. I expect that it'll be a reasonably good batting wicket. Good weather.
George, perhaps you're statistically well placed when it comes to 7-match series. You have never lost to Australia as a team anywhere else playing 7-match series. Is this something that is a huge advantage, at least psychologically?
Not at all. I don't think it's any advantage whatsoever. It's a nice stat though. Hopefully we can maintain it.
What's the biggest challenge when you play in this part of the world, Indian subcontinent? What are the biggest challenges?
At the moment, I think the fact that India are very good, that's probably the biggest challenge. I certainly think they deserve to be number 1 in the world. I think they were the best team in the Champions Trophy, so that's the most recent, I guess, international series. So that's the biggest challenge. They're a really well balanced side, and we've got to combat that, which I certainly think we're in a reasonable position to do.
Every team does an analysis of the others when they come for a tour. What, according to you, is the strength of the Indian team, which actually would be a worrisome factor for you?
I think their batting's very, very strong. So you go right through to 8 or 9, or but certainly their top 7 is really, really strong. So you focus too much on one, then another batter's going to jump up and hurt you. So it's important just to be pretty consistent across the board there, and knowing that if we are going to bowl them out or keep them to a defendable target, we're going to have to bowl and field really well.
Does that also can I make an inference from that bowling is the thing that you are targeting of the Indians?
I'm not necessarily targeting. What I've said in the past is that for us to win these series, we've got to play really consistent cricket, and I don't think it can just be on one facet. The other night we batted really well, but perhaps didn't bowl as well as we would have liked. So it's more an all-round performance, including fielding. I just think it's just in a contest that's going to be really hard fought. You can't rely too much on any one facet of your game.
How much is the dew a factor in this series?
Well, it'll be a factor on the grounds when there's dew, and when there's not, it won't be.
Australia has not lost a ODI series in India so far, but this team is starting as underdog. The prospect of that winning streak coming to an end, does it play in your mind? The team?
No, much like worrying about if you end up 1 or 2 in the world. That's the end product of the result of the series. So we just focus on the first game, and we go from there. And whatever happens at the end of the series happens.
Australian cricket is going through a transition process. Australia's whole World Cup under Alan Border, Ricky Ponting, Steve Waugh. and now you are leading a side which you have to build. And what is the biggest challenge to rebuild the team that has such a illustrious history?
Good question. And it's a good question because I don't think there's any one answer that probably gives it credit. Certainly what I'd like to see is this try and nut out our best 12 or 13 one-day cricketers, our best 12 or 13 test cricketers, and give them a really good extended run so that they get a chance to settle into the side. You get some consistency in where guys are playing and how they're playing, and from that you can start to really build a strong team within. You get that strong team culture, that strong team unity.
George, just going back to the junior for just a second, he obviously played very well in England. It's like he spent a little bit of extra life in his bowling, which performed away maybe 12 months ago. What are you expecting from him this series and I suppose in his third life in the international scene?
Yeah, well, I was really, really impressed with his bowling in England. He was outstanding for us, and much the same here. I guess his assets are his pace, which is always an asset over here. Certainly something that we'll try and use at really important stages of the game. He can swing the ball at the start of the innings, which can be really important here as well. So I guess those two things are what we're hoping to see from him.
Is there anything different than you've seen from him in the past, say 3 or 4 months that maybe wasn't there 12 months or 18 months ago?
Not really. I mean, he's really happy, which is I think that makes it easy for him to enjoy his cricket.
He played a lot of cricket with Xavier, though he doesn't spin the ball much or anything, but what are his strengths? I mean, economy rate of 4.2 in one-day cricket is great. What are his strengths?
You might have answered it. I think he's got really good changes of pace, subtle use of variations. He's not a big turner, but there's not many left-arm spinners that are big turners, particularly in one-day cricket. It's about hitting the stumps and creating wickets that way, making it challenging for batters to score, which he obviously does really well.
Rajkot was spreading flags and good batting wicket. Do you think the other wickets in the 7 matches will be a little slower to bring the spinners much more into the air?
Not sure. Never having played a one-day series here, I'm not really sure what to expect. I would expect good cricket wickets. I think India historically have produced really good one-day wickets. I would expect nothing different.
Last one.
This is the first ODI to be played in this stadium. Do you think it's a level playing field because India has also not played any ODI? The home advantage is nil, and the catching is as a first ODI for them as well at this stadium.
It is. There's been a lot of IPL games played here, so I would imagine all the Indian players have played here quite a lot. So I think there's always a bit of a home advantage. I hear it's a sellout crowd, so that's going to be great for the atmosphere. They're pretty passionate about their business, so I'm sure that'll give the Indians a boost.